Hi everybody, it's Amy, and I am here to talk to you about seeds. Not just about seeds, because that was last time, but we're actually going to plant them in our little seed pods and get them under the grow lights. And I want to kind of walk you through the process. I know several people have said, yes, we really want that. We've never done it before, or I'm doing something wrong. And trust me, I'm no expert, but I've started things from seeds and they've turned out good. So we're gonna see how you do with my method. So basically what I want to talk about first is when to start your seeds. So I had planned on planting my peppers and tomatoes today too, but it's mid-February and it's too early. So we're probably looking at mid to late March before I get those under the grow lights, because they'll start growing actual fruit inside, and you want that to happen outside so that it's a stronger overall plant. So you don't want to start too early. Another thing you want to check is you want to check your area's proposed last frost date, and then count backwards as to how many weeks that you need for these plants that you're going to be starting from seed. You can just Google it, last frost date, and put your zip code in, and that will get you pretty near to where you kind of have an idea of when to start your seeds. And again, like the last video, you look on the back of the packet and it will say, you know, you need to start these so many weeks before your last frost date. So that last frost date is important to know. I'm going to be doing more flowers today than vegetables because it's still a pretty ways out to where I don't want these plants getting too big and I can't do anything with them and they end up not doing so well. You kind of stunt their growth if you start them too early and they can't go outside until a lot later. So the ones I'm starting today are, as far as vegetables go, are ones that I know are going to take some time. So I've got my green globe artichoke, and I am going to do basil. Now you don't have to do basil until, let's see, it says sow indoors 6 weeks prior to setting out. So this I am doing early. However, I eat basil year round, and so when it starts coming up and I repot it into a much bigger pot, I'll just put it in the kitchen in a window, and then I can just pluck off of it. And with basil, the more you pluck the leaves off, the bushier it'll grow. It actually prefers that method, and it will make more room for more growth, more leaves. You'll end up with a really bushy, healthy plant. So I'm starting these early, but that's why. The stevia, I'm also kind of doing the same thing. This one says to sow indoors 6 weeks before the last frost, but again, I'm going to treat it like I am the basil, so that once it's big enough, I'll repot it and put it in the kitchen, and that'll work great for any beverages that need sugar. But that's it for the vegetables. Mostly everything else is direct sow, which we talked about last time, just putting it out into the ground. But these ones we're going to start today, and I'm really excited about that. So I already made up my tags. It is super, super, super important to have tags that are going to last, because once you have your all of your cells with your seeds in them, all planted up, they all look the same. It's just dirt, okay? So you want to make sure that you know what's planted in each one. And trust me when I tell you that it is important to have the right equipment in this area, because what I'm using is what I haven't always used. I just used whatever, popsicle sticks, and you know what wood does with water, it soaks up the moisture. so that once you're ready to plant them out, you really don't know what you have, because it will then also distort your marker so that you really can't read it anymore and it's pointless. So I've had some, well, let's plant it and let it grow and see what it is kind of moments. And I actually was doing that last year too. Because I haven't always been the most organized as far as my planting and growing. But this year, I'm determined. I have got plastic stakes, which are really great. And you just find them in your local garden center or online or wherever. And I lost my other bag. Oh, here it is. And I showed them to you in the last video. It's Rapid Clip. You can get them in different sizes. You can get them really tall. I was looking for shorter ones. This is a 6-inch stake, and there's 25 to a pack, and it comes with a pencil, but I use this is a garden marker, and it's specifically to write on tags, to be outside. If it rains real good, it's not gonna like come down like your mascara. So this one's a really great one. I think I got this on Johnny Seed website, and I got 2 of them because if I have 2, I have a better chance of at least finding one of them. So what I've already done is I've gone through my seeds and I've already marked them. You mark them whichever way you want, just as long as you know what you're planting. And what you can do, here I'll show you my setup, and I'm going to stand for a lot of this because I've got to get my hands in the soil. Okay, so this is the equipment that I use, and I'll go through it very carefully and in detail somewhat because a lot of it's self-explanatory. So one thing I wanted to mention that is a pro for seeds. There's a lot of great pride in starting something from seed. You take this tiny little thing and you pop it in the ground and boom, it is so beautiful, or it produces the most wonderful fruit, vegetable. And if you're wanting to go organic, whether it's all organic with your vegetables and your flowers, you know, you can totally do that with seeds because you know what has gone into each one of these. You know the soil that you used, you know how you treated it once it's out into the garden. So you are there from start to finish, and I really love that. So as far as the vegetables and fruit and whatnot go, I choose to go organic. So today I'm going to use Espoma Organic Seed Starting Mix. Now, the reason you want to use a seed starting mix instead of just plain potting soil is that seed starting mix is very, very light, very lofty, and it allows the seeds to actually root down in very easily, and you'll get a better yield from it. Now I have an incredibly large bowl. It is so not necessary to have a bowl this big. I'm very messy when it comes to this, which is why we're in our garage once again, because this is a messy process. So just want to pour some of this in here. I'm just going to do the whole bag. Okay, so it is very light, very, very lofty, something very easy for these tiny little seeds to sprout with. Okay, so what you want to do is, and I had to learn this little trick because I would put in this really nice lofty soil, and then I'd very carefully place my seeds, and then I'd water it and realize that it's not exactly a sponge when you water it. So it'll just kind of sit on top and things will float around, and there goes your seeds. Like you could have seeds like out of this corner when you wanted them right in the middle. So what you want to do to prevent that is you want to pre-moisten the soil. You don't want to saturate it. Let's see if that's enough water. Because you don't want your little seedlings to have way too much water at first. But you have to get your hands in there And then I'll show you, it's like mixing up meatballs or meatloaf. You just got to get in there with your hands. So to test if you have enough water in your soil is you want to squeeze it really tight and it'll still hold its shape, but you won't have water dripping from out of your hands. And plus, if you don't moisten your soil before you put it in, you could possibly have air pockets down inside these cells. You don't want air around the roots because it'll dry it out and it'll be bad news. So basically what you want to do, and I may just throw this in here, you can just put it right in your bowl. So you just want to put it in just like this, just very lightly. Okay, so with these big ones, they can break apart. So while my hands are still filthy, what you want to do is you don't want to like press the soil down to make sure there's no air pockets in there. You just lightly tap it, make sure you've got enough soil in there. And then you can go back over it with some more soil after you've tamped it down just a bit. So I think we're going to do our artichokes first. They look like sunflower seeds. Whoops. So these are much bigger than a lot of them and probably the basil I'll show you too, because I'm not going to do all artichokes in this one because I don't have enough space. 2 seeds per cell is typically what you want to do so that you make sure that you have good germination. So you just kind of put your finger in. It goes, seed depth is 1/8 to 1/4 inch. So maybe that's a little too much. So you just go down a little bit with your finger and you put in your 2 seeds. First, before I forget though, you want to stake them so that you know that everything in this cell is the green globe artichoke. Don't try and read my writing, you probably can't. But as long as I know, that's all that matters, right? Okay. So I am going to do 6 cells of just the artichokes, and we'll see what we end up with when we're done, when they start to show up. Okay, you just cover them over lightly. Again, it just takes a very gentle hand to do this. The next ones we'll do is the basil. Now you'll see a difference between the seed size, so tiny, and black, kind of the same color as the soil. I mean, if you put 3 in, if they get in there, you do what you can do, the best you can do. If we have to thin the basil, we have to thin the basil. Okay. All right, so we mark that, sweet basil, and I don't need this one. It's gonna be good, it's gonna be stevia. These are heirloom seeds, so they may be set up a little different. And again, just pay attention to the back of the seed packet to know how to grow the seeds on. Some of them don't want to be buried at all. Some of them need different depths. Now, on to some of our flowers. These ones are from Floret. I've got the Pincushion Flower Summer Sangria, Pincushion Flower Black Knight, Queen Anne's Lace, Queen of Africa, and Lace Flower Lacy Blue. So let me find my tag. Queen Anne's Lace, Queen of Africa. There we go. Make sure that's in there. Put our little holes in. Now, if I had more space, 1 under grow lights and 2 out in the garden, I would probably do like a whole flat of flowers that I really love. The Pincushion Flower Black Knight. I'm usually, I'm pretty careful as to how much of it I grow. Not that I don't think I'll love them, but I don't know their growth habits. Do I have it in the right spot? Is it growing the way I think it should? Or, you know, before I can take notes on it, I just do small ones, small little cells of each. And then this next one is the Pincushion Flowers Summer Sangria. Yes, Summer Sangria. Cover it over. And then I'll show you what we do next before I move on to some more. So then what you want to do, just to help settle them in, you either want to use what I showed last time in the video, one of those hand pump water sprayers, because they have a very gentle spray, or just one of these, okay? But when you've got a lot of seeds to do, sometimes this really hurts your hands and your wrists. Just kind of settling the soil in. Okay. And then the oh so important humidity domes. Humidity domes keep the moisture in, keep it a nice, warm, humid place where the seeds can germinate, and they'll be under the grow light, so they'll get lots of sun, 16 hours of sun, and then the rest of the time, because they need to rest also, the grow lights turn off. So that is our very first flat, and I'm very excited about that. So the seeds are all tucked up nicely under their grow lights. Again, they'll be under the lights for 16 hours and the rest in darkness because they need to rest like we do. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that we were able to answer some of your questions. But please put any questions down below. If there's something I didn't cover that you have questions about, I'd be happy to help. So I hope you all have a great day, and what do we say?
Bye.
See ya.